Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to attempt to make flan. It is my first time to make it on my own. I've seen it being made, I've seen videos, my mom, I've seen her make it, but it's been some time that I've personally seen it live. So I'm actually going to attempt this on my own. So if you're watching this, it obviously came out okay. We'll find out at the end if it was just okay or it was really, really good. So let me show you what the ingredients are going to be. Okay, so my ingredients are going to be a can of sweetened condensed milk, and this is a 14-ounce can. I will need a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. I will need 2 whole eggs and then 1 extra egg yolk. That is a total of 3 eggs, but we'll not use the whites on one of them. We're going to need a 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and the zest of, about a small little lime or 1/2 of a lime, and a pinch of salt. Let's get to making this flan. All right, so the first step is to take a small saucepan and get your 1/2 cup of sugar in there. We're gonna get this on the stove top at a medium to low heat, and we're going to stir this constantly and let this sugar melt in there. We don't need to add any water or anything. We're just gonna melt this sugar down to a syrup. And I will show you when that's done and tell you how long it took me to melt mine. All right, everyone, here is my sugar. It is melted into a nice brown golden caramel color. If you can see that there. I'm gonna pour it into this glass bowl. You can pour it into any bakeware that you might have. Probably something ceramic or glass might be best for it. But I'm gonna pour it into this one. It's a nice old loaf here that I've had for a while, but I'm going to use it because it is see-through, and I think the size is just perfectly fine. I have a smaller one, but I decided to go ahead and go for this bigger one. I'm going to pour all this to the bottom of my, you could do this in a little bowl as well. It doesn't have to be a loafy pan or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going to pour this to the bottom and just spread it out here. And it immediately starts to harden, so just know that that will happen. Okay, all the way to the edges as much as I can. Then I'm going to set this aside. And now I've got a bigger saucepan here with some water. I'm going to go ahead and start boiling this water. I may need to do more. Depends on how much water I will need to fill a pan where this will go into and get filled halfway. So I'm going to get this on the stove. All right, so the next step is to make our flan filling, and this is going to be 2 large eggs in one bowl. And then we're going to take just the yolk of another egg. So I'm going to separate it here in this little bowl. The egg whites out. And then I can throw that yolk right in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to whisk the eggs a little bit with the yolk just to get them nice and mixed up in there. You can use a hand mixer if you prefer. By the way, my caramel took about almost 5 minutes. The sugar took about 5 minutes to melt down into the syrup, I should say. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Now to this, we are going to add a pinch of salt. Just like that, just a little pinch. We are going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Just like that. The zest of 1/2 a lime. I like a little small lime. Okay, there we go. I think that's enough. And whisk that in there as well. All right, so then now we want to add our evaporated milk. Get that whisked in there. I'm going to also prepare my oven at 350 degrees. We want that preheated. And then I've got my pan here where I'm going to put the other pan in. All right, so then our last ingredient is to add this lovely, yummy, condensed sweetened milk. That is so good. I love sweetened condensed milk. Okay. Let's whisk that up real good. Okay, so I think that I whisked it for a good while here. I think I was doing it for about 2 minutes there. Now this will get poured into our little pan, which I placed into a larger pan. This is just what I grabbed. Just make sure that the other pan that you grab is big enough to fit this in, and that there's some space around it. So when you put water in there, it'll fill up to halfway to this pan here where you're going to put your flan in. So you want to make sure that it is a deep enough pan, okay? At least as deep as this one. So now we're going to pour all this. Oh, and you're going to hear some little crackling, by the way. The caramel in there when you pour this over it. And then you'll also see the zest of the lime floating around. So you'll see the little green bits. So just to let you know, that's what's happening there. Okay, now we're going to want to put a water in here. And I've got my water boiled. So let's see if this saucepan was enough. Kind of want to move this over or out of the way actually, and then pour this in. There we go, because I don't want to splatter this into my flan. Let's see how much that fills. Careful. This fills it up maybe a bit a quarter, so I'm going to go ahead and boil a little bit more water, put it in there just like halfway, like I said, to the height of the flan. I'm going to put this in the oven at 350, and it is going to bake for about 40 to 45 minutes. The 350 is a Fahrenheit degree. I believe it's about 160, 180 in Celsius. Okay, so then we'll be back once it comes out of the oven. Okay, so it has been 40 minutes and I've gone ahead and I pulled it out of the oven. This is what it looks like straight up out of the oven. It's super hot. I'm gonna move this aside and pull the pan with the flan out of the hot boiling water, and I'm just going to let it set and let it rest and let it cool down, and then I'm going to be putting in the refrigerator for about 2 to 4 hours, and then it will be ready to serve. But this is what it looks like right now. It is a little soft and wiggly and jiggly, but we're going to let it set. All right, everyone, my flan is now cooled off, and I'm going to go ahead and pop it out of the pan, and I've been going along the edges here to separate it from the sides of the pan. So now I've just got to do this front part here. It is pretty firm from what I have kind of experienced by just kind of like touching it like that. It was so good. I tasted a little bit on the knife. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to put it in this dish here. So I'm going to put this over and hope and pray that it pops out nicely. And I think it did. Okay, let's take this top part off. Let's see, carefully. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that. And look at all this yumminess here on the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and scrape it from the pan as much as I can. Some of it is stuck to the pan where it cooled off. And look at that. I'm going to tell you something. I did not refrigerate it. I let it cool off, and it's been an hour, and I kind of almost forgot about it. So when I came to it, I decided I'm not going to wait to refrigerate it, but I'm sure that if you refrigerate it, it'll probably be a little bit firmer, but this is nice and firm as it is. And this is just from an hour of sitting out on the counter, cooling off. I think it's beautiful, and I think I should give it a taste. So let's go ahead and cut into some of this and give it a taste. All right, I'm ready to cut into my flan. I really don't want to. I think it looks so beautiful. Let me hold it up one more time. Look at it closely. And of course, I'm going to pan the camera on it so you'll be able to see that. But it's time to taste. I'm going to take a nice little sliver off the edge here. plate here, like that. Okay. Nice and creamy, like that. Jiggly, just like flan should be. It's another one of those things that, you know, you make and you feel really proud of yourself for doing so, and it comes out delicious. And other than delicious, you're trying to find words for it, but it's just lovely. It's beautiful. It's super creamy. The inside, the egg and milk filling, very creamy. It has some substance. You know, you ever have Jello and you like to put it in your mouth and they kind of break it up at the top of, you know, the roof of your mouth? That's kind of the consistency or the texture, but it is creamy. And then of course the sugar syrup on top gives it a sweetness. Oh my goodness, it is so very good. I'm so very happy that I made this. It's delicious. I need to take some over to my mom because I really want to make her proud. I'm gonna give myself a big old thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and that you enjoyed this recipe for this flan. It's not really even hard to do. I was mostly concerned about doing the syrup on the top, the sugar, but just stay there on your stove, watch it, and it'll be just fine. And of course, if you're scared to invert it, you can just leave it in the pan and just cut it out from the pan and or scoop it out, whatever you want to do, and serve it that way. So don't be afraid to make flan in case those are your concerns like they were for me. But as you can see, it turned out right. I didn't even refrigerate it, you guys. I just let it sit here for an hour to cool off, and it is perfectly good to flip it out of there. All right, please leave a nice comment down below. Let me know what you think, and if you're going to try this recipe, or if you have a different way of making your flan, what do you add to it? I was thinking maybe some little pecans on top would be nice to top it with, or maybe walnut. There's a fly in here. Oh my goodness. Anyway, everyone, make sure you subscribe, of course, if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell to notify you of the videos that I set up every Tuesday and Friday, and also sometimes I set up a little weekend vlog. Please share on your social medias, and as always, enjoy.